As per the law, anyone who qualifies or anyone who reaches certain criteria can apply and become a judge candidate. I myself, I don't know what are the criteria for the South African people to qualify their judges, but I found this interesting video online about Julius Malema, and Julius Malema will be taking us through the process of judges acquisition in South Africa. It's interesting, and so without further ado, let's jump into the video where we are going to have a reaction today. So let's dive into the video right now.
How many staff members do you have in your office? Not in the group, your office.
In my staff, in my office, only one receptionist, and I use a typist. That's not permanently in my service. We, as a group, use the typist.
So how many are you in the office? You are three. It's you, the PA, and the typist.
Yes, the receptionist and the typist.
In your office?
Yes.
And then how many are black people?
The receptionist is a black woman.
Have you ever visited a township?
Yes.
Where?
When I was in Bophuthatswana, on many occasions we had to go into the townships.
Where? In which township? In
Garankuwa, Winterveld.
Can you speak any
indigenous?
Can you speak any indigenous language?
No.
Why?
I cannot give a reason for that.
I can't hear Chief
I
Justice.
cannot give you a reason why I cannot speak.
Yeah, have you ever seen any need to learn indigenous languages?
Yes, I think it's a need to it will be.
So here's something that I find it intriguing. Must a judge speak an African language in South Africa? At least one of the African languages, because we have many languages, and Zulu language is the wide spoken. It has the highest majority in terms of human population. So my question is, must a judge speak any African language? How is that going to help the law? Because I believe the Constitution is written in one language. It's written in the language of English. English is a universal language. Africans, we accepted English as a universal language, a language that we can use to speak to one another and understand each other. In Kenya, we have the Bantus, in the Nilotes, the Kushites, the Semites. We have these people here. But then if you go into Tanzania, we have the same language group, but they speak different language. You see, there are different variation of the linguistic patterns. However, English is something which has been adopted by many countries as a medium of exchange, as a medium of communication. So Julius Malema asking the judge candidate if he understands English as one of the criteria, I find it not really fitting. It's not really something tangible to bring into table. No. The right question would be, do you speak English? Yes, I speak English. Or no, I do not speak English. That is how I think Julius Malema would have asked the white brother. So let's continue and see what...
A good thing to speak an African language.
But you still didn't see any need to learn it when you think it's a good thing to...
No, I did not.
You didn't see any need to learn African language?
No, sir.
Do judges have a role to play when it comes to transformation?
Yes.
What role will you play to transform society as a judge?
Well, sir, maybe to give you an example, I've attached a letter or email to my application form where a black woman appeared in my court in an opposed matter, and she appeared in person. And I've guided her right through the proceedings. And at the end of the day, I ruled in her favor She wrote a comment to the Judge President. Maybe if I can refer to that document. It was, the lady was Busizwe Maduna. She wrote that, "Your Lordship, please allow me," and this is a letter that was, email that was addressed to the Judge President. "Your Lordship, please allow me to extend my sincere gratitude to the High Court and in particular Judge J.J. Strydom for the assistance given in my legal case." This lady was not represented, as I said, she appeared in person. "By way of introduction, I'm a layman in terms of the law, but still represented myself at the High Court recently. I'm a black female, and this was my first time defending myself in a court as a plaintiff. I certainly did not have the correct terminology or know-how of when to even sit or stand. However, the judge and his team guided me through. I was also grateful to some of the advocates showing me Ubuntu and informing me of what to do and when through whispers and hand gestures. Judge J.J. Strydom was courteous on all accounts." And then she ended up by saying that, "I'm also grateful that Judge J.J. Strydom allowed me to represent myself as I could not afford to have counsel representation. This is the type of compassion that can make a significant contribution to making our society right, in at least understanding that we can have access to resources such as the courts with neither fear nor retribution due to a history of economic exclusion."
Do you support transformation?
Definitely.
Yeah, so I think the most important role of a judge is not ruling on someone's favor because they're black or white. It's ruling on the favor of justice. And when justice is served, here is where we get transformation. The society is transformed for the better, for the good, you know. This is a law. A law is supposed to be safeguarding its citizens and punishing the perpetrators while protecting the people who have faced violence, you know. So we know the injustices in South Africa. We have apartheid, we have economic injustices, we have apartheid is just a huge blanket for all the injustices. We have land issues in South Africa, you know. These are common things. We have black people can't go into some places in South Africa. A black man can't go into some places. This is absurd. And so transformation should be something that should look into these problems that South Africans are facing, Africans are facing. The other day you saw I made a video about an African American brother who went all the way to downside South Africa in some place called I think Port Elizabeth, something like Port Elizabeth. I can't remember very well. But when he got there, you know, he realized one thing. We had a community of Asian people, the Chinese Asians, you know, and he was racially mistreated by the Chinese shop owner. They thought he was a person who brought violence. They said, "We don't serve people like you black people," and it's South Africa. So transformation as a judge in South Africa, the main problem we have there is apartheid and land issues and corruption, land issues and apartheid. In short, this is what Julius Malema is asking the brother to see if he will do something against them and to prove to you that this is what Julius Malema wanted. Every time Julius Malema speaks, he always speaks of corruption, apartheid and land issues. And here is where he wants to see if this judge candidate acknowledges the problems that these Africans are facing or are made to face by the white people, by the Indians, and by other fellow black people who are corrupt. So let's continue watching. The judge is really having a hard time answering the question of transformation. This should tell you a lot. Racism is something which has been ingrained into the South African white people. It has been ingrained. They have been born and been taught. So transformation, if it means having equality, he has some cognitive dissonance in mind that is challenging his beliefs that has been the beliefs of his parents and the beliefs of the court system. That's why he's finding it really hard to answer this simple question. It's just when somebody's they are not stable. They are not firm with their words. You have to be firm with your words. In fact, as a judge, your word and firmness really count. Let's see how he behaves onwards.
Don't know.
It doesn't help us, right?
No.
Appointing you doesn't help us to transform the judiciary. Am I right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Commissioner Nyambi.
I'm covered, CJ.
Thank you. Prof.
Thank you, CJ. My question is a follow-up to Commissioner Malema's one, particularly on this letter, which makes reference to the concept of Ubuntu. Because I was going to ask to what is your understanding of that concept of Ubuntu? And also, how does that concept helps us to transform the judiciary in terms of its functioning and also the jurisprudence that comes out of the court? Thank you.
Commissioner, I don't know what is the concept of Ubuntu.
The judge does not understand the concept of Ubuntu. If I told you that I have never watched this video before, I've only seen it, would you believe me? But I know the concept of Ubuntu. The concept of Ubuntu is like Pan-Africanism without using the English Pan-Africanism. So think of Pan-Africanism translated into African language, Ubuntu. The becoming of one in Africans. Africans, we are one. We are Ubuntu. Ubuntu means coming together as Africans, not any other language, but not any other people, but Africans. So the judge does not understand the concept of Ubuntu, but he wants to be a judge. These people are here sitting. They want to make sure that they don't elect the wrong candidate that will see he will be giving impaired judgment in court, ruling on the favor of people of his kind. Remember, it's South Africa, and I told you before, South Africa is a country of black, white, Indians, colored. So somebody has to be on both sides. A judge has to transcend the boundaries. A judge has to understand the concepts of unification. He has to understand some things about each and every culture. The position requires that. You don't need to speak the language, but at least understand some of the things that are being done. If I go to Rome, I Romanize myself. If I go to Rome, I won't Kenyanize myself. If we have such a word, I will become like a Roman. I'll do what the Roman people do. And that is the problem these people are having with this judge candidate. They think he's not ready, but what shows he's not ready, we are yet to see. So let's continue.
Commissioner Didiza.
Thank you very much, CJ, and good afternoon, Advocate. Yes, good afternoon. Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes. On your questionnaire on 7,
The earlier response you gave to the question regarding whether you are aware of the concept Ubuntu, did you say that you were not aware of that concept, or did I miss something?
Pardon?
Sorry? He did understand. Oh, okay. He didn't understand the concept. Yes, that's the question really I'm asking. I just wanted to confirm if indeed you said you did not understand the concept Ubuntu.
Yes.
I'm just trying to understand your exposure to customary law, because it seems to be at the very core of the indigenous knowledge system, insofar as it's at the core of African customary law even. How did it escape you? Maybe I should ask a question differently. Your exposure to indigenous customary law, was it only in relation to these two matters that we have just talked about? Because you seem to give me the impression that you've had exposure to African customary law.
That's correct, yes.
I see. Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks, Jay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Stradom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't want to punish the deeds of your father. You know, your father was a judge, a very difficult judge, we must say. When it comes to transformation and the things that your father did, while he was on that bench, do you think that we should trust you with transformation?
Well, firstly, I'm a different person. I've got a totally different personality from my father. I've got my own mind, and I've heard about things he did. I did not agree with all he has done. I, in fact, challenged him on a couple of occasions as a son. But I believe I will do my own thing, and I've got a different view altogether, and we live in a new dispensation, and I totally accept the transformation, and I will assist where I can also to transform the bench through my interpretation and application of the Constitution, and in dealing with matters properly.
Which specific parts that your father committed that today you are saying you don't agree or you are denouncing them?
Well, it is a long time ago. I must now refresh my memory. You're talking about 20 years ago. I think he became a judge in 1974. He was in Namibia for 8 years, and then after that he came to the bench in Pretoria. And I think he already retired in I'm not exactly sure, 93 or something like that. But there was one specific matter which I was unhappy with, and that related to a sentence he imposed in Polokwane on circuit. And that is the matter I specifically remember engaging with him, trying to get a feel why he did what he did. Yeah, that's all I can say at this stage. Other specific incidents I can't now relate or inform the Commission about.
I was trying to understand because, you know, with that background, to some of us it's very difficult to accept that you can advance the interest of a non-racial, non-sexist society when we know the father that brought you in this world didn't share those aspirations. How do you convince us?
Yeah, all I can say is I cannot be responsible for what he has done. He lived in a different era. He has his own background. I have a total different background. I had many other influences. I became aware of the constitutional democracy. I know the principles. I know the Constitution. So all I can say is, although he brought me into life, I will not follow his thought and his thoughts and the way he did things. And I must say, I'm not saying that all he has done was bad. He was a judge for on to 21 years, and he also obviously, according to me, did many or heard cases and work hard. So I just can't at this stage just say just negative things about him. But I will do my own thing, and I will have my own mind. And I have a different mind set than his.
No, I take your point, and as I said,
I think if everybody was made to pay the sins of our father, nobody stands right, nobody stands qualified. Our parents hurt other families. Maybe we are where we are because our fathers or our mothers hurt other fathers and other mothers elsewhere. But if we carry that pain with us everywhere we go, we won't have this Ubuntu thing. Africans sold out African Americans to slavery. Yes, it happened so. Slavery has been going on in Africa even before the white person. Africans have been selling out Africans. So for us to have that togetherness and oneness, we need to let go of the past and reconstruct the future. Let's learn from history, not repeating history, you know. Now it might be reverse apartheid. Apartheid, anywhere there's this word apartheid, it should not be repeated. Either reverse or forward, it should never be repeated. And to me personally, I think it's not right to judge somebody because of what their father did. They have their different personalities. It's like Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln didn't love his father. Everything he didn't like was in his father. When he became president, he became a very different person from his father. And that's how things happen. That's how things goes. We have many examples of people who are not like their fathers. They achieved something big than their fathers. That's how it should be. That's how things should be done. If we want to judge, let's judge outside of past human circumstances. Let's judge something on the concurrent things happening in the contemporary moments. Yeah.
Said in my intro, I don't want to punish you for the deeds of your dad, but I just want to convince myself that indeed it's not a perpetuation or continuation of something that was not right.
Well, I can also just take it a bit further that I've been acting since 2011. I've applied the law. I've sat on many matters. I had no problem whatsoever with any person. There were no complaints that I'm hard or I've got an attitude that's wrong or that I in anti-government or anything like that. There's been absolutely nothing. I've felt that during my 6 years or 7 years of on and off acting, I did my best, and I had no complaints, and I written many judgments, and all of those judgments has been accepted. I've never been taken. Well, I've been taken on appeal once, but it was upheld, and I'm talking about approximately 100 judgments which I've written over.
Yeah. So that's that's the end of the video. I hope we've learned much from the video, as the video has been really helpful in gathering information about Africa, South Africa, sorry, and the things that happened. The Africans have still not fully forgotten what happened to them. It has been evident by how Malema and his team has judged, has critiqued the two white judge candidates. Yes. So that's all. And remember, let's stay African. Let's forget the mistakes of the past, because when you start looking at the mistakes of the past, nobody stands right. Everybody is guilty. Everybody is guilty. So let's look past the past. Let's focus on the present. So that's all for today. See you in the next video, where we will have a deep critical analysis. So support the channel by subscribing. Do give the channel a super thanks if you want. Okay, join my Patreon, become a member to the channel. Yeah, just do what your spirit leads you to do. And thank you for watching the video.